Welcome back to Mac Talks Football. It's match day 15 in the La Liga, and with the last couple of weeks and the results that have come in, we are back. We basically have a title race, which felt like it was done and dusted after that El Clasico. But Barcelona's last 2 weeks results have brought the title race back into spotlight. Then you have the relegation fight going on. The last 7 teams just separated by 5 points, so it is very tight. You have that the 5 teams fighting for the European places as well. So it is really tight at the moment in La Liga, and we can expect another a very exciting and a close set of games this weekend. So let's go ahead and start with our prediction. The first game, it is Mallorca versus Valencia. It is 8th versus 17th. Now Mallorca are having an amazing season. Now let's be very honest, none of us thought that they were going to have such an amazing season just before the season started, and they are on a different level at the moment. They have a couple of setbacks, but then just fight back, and they make a comeback. Like last weekend, they had lost a couple of games just before the international break, and people thought the good run of Mallorca is coming to an end, but they win last weekend and they are right back in it. They're still in contention for those European places. They could get into the Europa League, Champions League, Conference League. They are really fighting for it. They are playing against a Valencia side who had not played for a couple of weeks because of what happened in Spain before the international break, but last weekend they played after almost a month and they won that game. It was a big win for them. They are 18th. Sorry, I said 17th. They are 18th in the league. So they are in that relegation zone, but there were a couple of games in hand. They are going away to a Mallorca side who are on as I said, they would be feeling really good after last weekend. I think it will be a very close game because Valencia themselves, they have not played for that long, but last weekend's win is gonna give them a lot of confidence. But I just don't think they are gonna be able to compete with Mallorca, and I think Mallorca are gonna get them in. It will be a close game, but I think Mallorca are gonna exit in the end. I'm going for a 2-1 win for the home side. The next game is Barcelona versus Las Palmas. It is first versus a 17th. Barcelona, as I said before, that they were on a great run of form. Everything was going perfectly for them. They had a big gap between them and the clubs. The Madrid clubs are below them, but that has shortened. Like they currently have a almost like 5 points a gap between them and Real Madrid. And Madrid have a game in hand as well, 5 or 4 points. Sorry. So that is a big blow to them. They lost just before the international break to Sociedad. They drew last weekend against Celta Vigo. I expected that result. I said that they were not going to win. I said they were going to draw, and I said it will be a 2-2 draw, and that's exactly how that game panned out. They are at home again this weekend, and they are playing against a Las Palmas side who even though they are 17, their last five they have won 3 of their last 5 games. So they are in a good run of form, if I'm being very honest with you, and I think it will be a good game of football. But Barcelona, they know how important this game is. They cannot really afford to drop any more points, how crucial this game is. I think they are gonna win it. Unfortunately for Las Palmas, I think they are gonna win this game quite comfortably. I'm going for a 3-0 win for Barcelona. The next game is Alaves versus Leganes. It is 14th versus 16th versus 14th. Both these teams, they have been quite inconsistent. They have been quite hard to predict because they have not been in a really good form. They have not shown any sort of momentum. They'll be good for a couple of games, and then they will be bad, and then they will come up and they have a good set of run of games. So you don't really know which type of performance they are gonna give, and it is quite surprising for both of them. You sort of expected both of them to be in mid-table, but you sort of still thought that there are going to be some consistency there, but there has not been any consistency. And I think it is going to be another one of those games where it's really hard to predict. And to be very honest with you, I'm going to stay on the fence because I really don't know which type of Alaves and which sort of performance Leganes are going to give. So I'm going to stay on the fence, but I expect goals in this game. I still think we are going to get some goals, but I think they are not going to be that many goals. So I'm going for a 1-1 draw between Alaves and Leganes. Moving on to the next game, it is Espanyol versus Celta Vigo. It is 19th versus 11th. Espanyol, they are in a really bad form at the moment. 4 defeats in a row in their last 4 games. Whatever they are trying, it is not working out for them. They are in the relegation zone. They are really fighting for their lives to stay in the league. A lot of the fans, they are not really happy with what the management is doing, and there's a lot of anger amongst the fans because they could see they can see that they might go back down to Liga hibernation, so they really don't want to go to the second division. They don't want to get relegated, but at the moment it is not looking really good for them. They are welcoming a team in Celta Vigo, who played a 2-all draw against Barcelona last weekend. Their confidence would be really high. They have been really, really good this season, and they have not won. There's just been one win for them in the last 5 games, but they have been undefeated in their last 3 games, 1 win and 2 draws, and that included a draw against Barcelona. And I think this could be the game where Celta Vigo get back to on their winning list. I think it will be a fun game to watch, but I think Celta Vigo are going to win it, and I think they are going to win it comprehensively as well. I'm going for a 3-1 win for Celta Vigo. The next game is Valladolid versus Atletico Madrid. It is a 20th versus a third. Valladolid just 1 wins in their last 5 games. They are right at the bottom of the table. It is not really looking good for them, to be very honest with you. I mean, their performances have not been really good, and they've been quite poor. I mean, the way that they are playing, it has not really worked out for them. Whatever the manager is trying, even though they score goals as well, but it is not really. I think that the main problem for them is the defense. They are not really able to keep the goals out, and that is really hurting them. They are playing against an Atletico Madrid side who have sort of come back in the title picture. They are just 5 points behind Barcelona, so you would expect Barcelona to win this weekend as well, so they know they cannot afford to lose any more points. And I keep on saying with Atletico Madrid, they have sort of come back in the title picture, but there are teams behind them, so they who are trying to get Atletico Madrid dragged down into the Champions League fight as well. So there are teams behind them as well. It is very, very close at the top of the table, so Atleti they are trying to catch Barcelona as well, and they're making sure that they don't get caught up from the teams behind it. I mean, Villarreal are just 4 points behind them, and Villarreal have a game in hand as well. So Atleti know how important this game is, and I think even though they are away, I think they are going to win it. They are undefeated in their last 5 games, 4 wins out of 5, 3 in a row. And they're in a really good form, and I think it is going to continue. I think they are going to win it, and they are going to win it convincingly as well. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Atletico Madrid. The next game is Villarreal versus Girona. It is 4th versus 7th. Two of those teams that are really fighting for those European places. Two of those teams that would really like to be in the Champions League next season. Girona are already in the Champions League, and they've tasted that. They tasted that success, and they would want to replicate it. They don't really want to let it go. Villarreal, they want to get back in the Champions. They have not been in the Champions League for a couple of seasons, and they want to get back into it. Girona have they have won 3 of their last 5 games. They have been in a good form. Villarreal themselves, they are undefeated in their last 4 games, even though 2 of them have been one they drew last weekend, so they will be quite disappointed with that result. They know they cannot afford to lose any more points because the amount of teams that are behind them, they are trying to get into their place in those in the top 4 to get into the Champions League, and they themselves want to catch Atletico Madrid as well. They want to make sure that they can get as close to Atletico Madrid and then Real Madrid and Barcelona as well. Like there's an outside chance of Villarreal being in that title picture. I'm not, people are going to laugh at me, but I still think that because the Atletico Madrid are 5 points behind Barcelona, and Villarreal are like 8 or 9 points, but Villarreal have a game in hand. So you really never know. I still think that I would say 10 to 20% chance Villarreal might end up winning the league. So that is why they need to win these games. Like, even if you really want to fight for the title, if you want to get into the Champions League, you need to win games like this. Girona are going to really, going to give them a really, really tough time. But I still think Villarreal are somehow going to edge it. I'm going for a very, very close 2-1 win for Villarreal. The next game is Real Madrid versus Getafe. It is 2nd versus 15th. Real Madrid have been in a good run of form. 4 wins out of their last 5 games. 1 defeat against Barcelona. That basically felt like the league was done for them. But they have sort of made a comeback more to because of Barcelona's bad performance. But they are right back in the title picture. They are 4 points behind Barcelona, and they still have a game in hand. So it is a very, very close thing at the moment. And they know they cannot afford to lose any more points. They lost to Liverpool over midweek in quite a convincing fashion, I must say, in the Champions League. So that is going to play a big impact on this game as well. They are playing against a Getafe side who are 15th at the moment, and they are not in a really good form, to be very honest with you. They won last week, and it was a huge win for them because it felt like they were getting dragged into that relegation battle. They are still in a relegation battle. They're still not out of it, and I think unfortunately for them, it is not going to get anything any better for them this week. weekend as well. I think they are going to lose this game as well, and Real Madrid being at home, being at the Bernabeu, the fans are going to expect a reaction after that defeat to Liverpool, and I think Getafe unfortunately are going to have to bear the brunt of it. I think Madrid are going to win it. It might not be that easy, but in the end I think they are going to get the job done. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Real Madrid. The next game is Rayo Vallecano versus Athletic Club Bilbao. It is 13th versus 5th. Rayo, I don't really know what to say about Rayo. I mean, they are one of the most inconsistent teams of La Liga. They win one weekend, then they go ahead and they give out such a bad performance, and they lose quite comprehensively next weekend. Then the following weekend they are again an amazing team. So you really don't know which type of a team performance you are gonna get from Rayo Vallecano, playing against an Bilbao side who are undefeated in their last 5 games, and it is two of them, but there have been just 2 wins. Last weekend it was a big win for them against a Real Sociedad side, and that has helped them to remain at the top in that 5th position, being very close to Villarreal, just a point difference between them and Villarreal. Even though Villarreal have a game in hand, but it's important to stay as close to them as possible. So it is a big game for them, Athletic for Bilbao, and Bilbao just like Villarreal and the other teams from that 3rd to 8th position, like everybody is so close. You cannot really afford any mistakes, and I think they know that as well, and I think they are gonna get the win as well. Rayo, even though they are at home, as I said, they are so inconsistent. I just don't see them winning this game. But the thing is, they could end up shocking and give out such an amazing performance, and they could trash Bilbao. But I'm gonna go with my gut, and I think Bilbao are gonna get the win. I'm going for a 2-1 win for Atletico Bilbao. The next game is Real Sociedad versus Real Betis. It is a 10th versus a 9th. Now both these teams lost last weekend, and both these teams are fighting to get into those Champions League places. Sociedad are around 18 points, Betis are around 20 points. So again, the point difference between them and the teams above them is not that much, just a point difference. And that by the end of the weekend, you could see the teams switch up quite quickly. It is happening every weekend. Some of them, one team goes ahead and the other teams comes down, and the following weekend it keeps on changing. That's why it is so close. It's quite interesting. Sociedad lost last weekend, as I said. Betis lost last weekend. Both of them cannot afford to drop points anymore in this weekend as well. I think it will be a very fun game to watch. Both of them like to go forward. Both of them like to score goals as well. I think it will be a fun game to watch. We are going to expect goals, but I just don't see a winner out of this game, unfortunately, for both of them. I think they are going to drop points. Not all 3 of them. I think both of them are going to get a point each, but in the end there's not going to be a winner. I think it will be end up in a draw, and it will be a goal scoring game. I'm going for a 2-all draw between Real Sociedad and Real Betis. And the last game of a match day 15 in La Liga is Sevilla versus Osasuna. It is a 12th versus a 6th. Sevilla, they are sort of starting to come back into the top 10. It has not been a good, good season for them. I think it's still a better season as compared to last year, but they're still struggling. I still don't think they are out of it. They are still in that relegation battle, in my opinion. Their points are they are not that much far away from the other teams at the bottom, so they are still not safe, I would say. But I think still at the moment they would feel a lot better than they did a couple of weeks ago, playing against an Osasuna side who are having an amazing season, 6th in the table, and if they get this win, they could end up being in the top 4 by the end of the weekend. So that it's an important game for them. They have not won in the last 2 games before the international break. They lost last weekend, they drew. So the momentum is not with them, and they are in away side as well. And I think it is going that is going to play into it, and I just don't think they are going to win it because they are in away side, unfortunately. But I think it is going to end up in a draw, but I don't think it's going to be a high scoring draw. I am going for a 1-all draw between Sevilla and Osasuna. And that is it. These are my predictions for match day 15 in La Liga. 3 or 4 quite exciting games. The games that for which the results could have huge implications on the table, on the teams where they end up by the end of the weekend. It's going to be quite interesting, and it's going to be interesting how Barcelona come back, how Real Madrid play, and the teams at the below. As I said, it's going to be quite an interesting weekend as well. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions, and make your predictions in the comment section below as well, and we'll see whose predictions are correct. That's it from me in this video. Like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of this year, so please go ahead and subscribe and help the channel out. Until next time, bye bye.